A very good afternoon to you. This is your lunch prime time news bulletin on News First. As usual, let's take a look at the headlines. Bilateral talks held between Ranil Wickremesinghe and Narendra Modi. Chamara Sampath sworn in as Chief Minister of the Uva province. Farmers allege that state paddy purchasing mechanism is not being carried out in a proper manner. Investigations to ascertain whether poisonous chemicals have polluted the Canny River. Malcolm Turnbull sworn in as Australia's new Prime Minister. On to those stories in detail. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe held bilateral discussions with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi this morning, where 4 bilateral agreements were signed between the two leaders. News First Shamir Rasuldin is in New Delhi, bringing us official reports on the Prime Minister's visit and joins us now with his details.
Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe met his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi today at the Hyderabad House in New Delhi, India. Now, the meeting was held under closed doors and no media personnel were allowed to cover the event. 4 bilateral agreements were signed between both countries, that is India and Sri Lanka, today. Now, the agreements were on orbit frequency, and an MOU was signed between India and Sri Lanka for the provision of medical equipment to 200 wards to Government General Hospital, and an MOU regarding Indian grant assistance for the implementation of small development projects to local bodies, and also grant assistance agreement from India towards setting up of an operation of emergency ambulance service that's also in between both countries today. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe would meet Indian President Pranab Mukherjee tomorrow before his departure to Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister will leave India at around 12:45 p.m. local time. Shamir Rasuldin reporting the news from New Delhi, India.
Now, the Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira and Minister of International Trade Malik Samaravikrama accompanied Prime Minister Wickremesinghe during the meeting. The Premier arrived in New Delhi, India last evening, marking the commencement of his first state visit since assuming office. In more local news, Chamara Sampath Dissanayake was sworn in as Chief Minister of the Uva province before President Maithripala Sirisena today. Dissanayake fills the position left vacant as a result of former Chief Minister of the Uva province, Harin Fernando, being selected to Parliament following the recently held general election.
कार्य सहकार्य श्रीलंका प्रजातांत्रिक समाजवादी जनराज्य आंदोलन व्यवस्था आरक्षा කොට අනුගමනය කරන බවද ගෞරව බුහුමානී යුක්තව ප්‍රකාශ කොට
Farmers of certain areas raise allegations that the purchasing of paddy is not being carried out in a proper manner. Paddy was brought to the state paddy storage facility in Shravastipura by farmers yesterday as well. The purchasing of paddy harvest of the Natchaduwa, Shravastipura areas is done at the Shravastipura storage facility. However, the farmers of Talawa, Tamuttegama and Gammirisgaswawa brought in their harvest to the storage facility in Shravastipura as the purchasing of paddy in those areas had concluded. The farmers of Natchaduwa state that they are facing hardships as the harvest of other areas are being brought to the storage facility that is allocated for them. They state that 80% of the harvest has not been reaped. Meanwhile, the farmers state that purchasing of paddy is not done properly in the Yakkala area in Galenbindunuwava. They state that though they tried to sell their harvest, they were turned around on a number of occasions. 2,500 metric tons of paddy can be stored at this storage facility. The Deputy Divisional Manager of the Paddy Purchasing Board said that 1,500 metric tons of paddy has been purchased at the moment. He said only 100,000 kilograms of paddy can be purchased. State Minister Lakshman Yapabewardena assumed duties today. The State Minister assumed duties at the Ministry of Finance in Colombo. Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resource Development Mahinda Amaraveera expressed the following views at an event in the Tissamaharama Divisional Secretariat.
The President, as the leader of the country, decided to join the two parties and form a national government. They are trying to say different things and make us uncomfortable. Similarly, there is another group who are saying that the issue of the central bank governor was swept under the carpet by appointing a new cabinet. That will not happen now. I have complained against the central bank governor to the bribery commission. Some are asking whether I have withdrawn the complaint. It has not been withdrawn, and the investigations have not concluded. It will continue for sure. We know there are issues pertaining to the bribery commission. Those were highlighted by the media in the past, but we state clearly that we will not let it be swept under the carpet.
An event was organised in Chillout to welcome State Minister of Law and Order and Prison Reforms, Priyanka Ratnayaka.
The State Minister was welcomed by a vehicle procession. The parade, which commenced from the Bangadeniya area in Chillout, travelled up to Anamadua.
News First received information on a number of issues that have surfaced in the Pattiyapula Mahavidyalaya, which is a school in Tangol. The Pattiyapula Mahavidyalaya, which comes under the purview of the Tangol Zonal Educational Office, was founded 81 years ago. At present, 62 students receive their education at the school. However, due to the lack of facilities at this school, our correspondent in the area stated that students are enrolling themselves in other schools in the area and that the school faces the risk of being closed down. Some of the main issues faced are a dearth of resources such as tables, chairs as well as teachers. The National Water Resources Board says it has commenced investigations into ascertaining whether poisonous chemicals have polluted the Kalani River.
Chairman of the board Zulfikar Kader stated that due to the release of wastewater by factories, the Kalani River has been severely polluted. He further stated that after water samples are tested and the report is released, they will take measures to create awareness among the public on the issue. However, environmentalists state that the percentage of arsenic is currently at very high levels in the river. Environmentalist Ravindra Karyavasam said the toxicity levels of the Kalani River were ascertained after tests were conducted on water quality near the Ambatale water purifying plant. Meanwhile, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, in a statement issued recently, said that water provided to Colombo and its suburbs do not contain metals or arsenic. The statement goes on to note that water samples from the river are tested for arsenic once a week at the laboratory at the Ambatale water treatment plant. It adds that the amount of arsenic in a litre of water should not exceed 0.05 milligrams.
Still on local news, an individual was engaged in a hunger strike at the Independence Square this morning.
The individual, an attorney at law by profession, held this strike to protest against the appointment of ministers to the parliament outside the national list and against defeated candidates being appointed. However, our correspondent said that the individual has now abandoned the strike.
A soldier fell victim to circumstance after a blade of chainsaw he was using to cut a barrel ricocheted and hit him on the head fatally. The accident took place at an army camp in Urikkadu area in Balwalature.
The police media spokesperson's office said the accident occurred yesterday while the soldier was on duty using the chainsaw to cut a barrel. The soldier, who sustained serious injuries, was first admitted to the Valvatiturai hospital and was then transferred to the Jaffna hospital, during which time he succumbed to his injuries. The deceased is a 25-year-old individual of the Pilassa area in Mavatagaba.
Now the final rites of Seya Sadevmi, the 5-year-old girl who was molested and later strangled to death, to be held this afternoon. Villagers and relatives are arriving at the residence to pay their last respects to Seya Sadevmi. Our correspondent stated that the final rites are to be conducted at the Badalgama Public Cemetery this afternoon. Another stage of the News First classroom workshop is currently underway at the Uva Science College in Haliyala.
Today's workshop is the 190th classroom project by News First. The workshop is being held with the aim of improving the media literacy of the nation's children. Over 200 students of the Uva Science College in Haliyala participated at the workshop, which includes numerous practical activities. The workshop is being held in both the Sinhala and Tamil mediums for the students of the Uva Science College.
Well, with that we wrap up lunch prime time news for the day. But before we wrap up, we leave you with some photographs we just received of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe meeting Indian Premier Narendra Modi. Good afternoon. Have a safe day ahead.